I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're plunging into the heartfelt yet tumultuous world of teenage love in Rossana Snee's Papi, por favor. Her book is a wonderful book that tells the story of 16-year-old Madison Michaels as she navigates the waters of first love and family loyalty, all under the watchful eye, however, of an overly protective father. It is a story of secrets, rivalries, and the irresistible pull of romance that defies even the strictest of rules. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Rossana, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Great to be here, Logan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration for a character like Madison, who is torn between family duties and personal desires.
Well, the story is basically my story. I am Madison Michaels, and it is inspired by true events. Now, when I was 17 years old, there was a transfer student coming to the school. His name was Richard. I changed it to Ben. And it was toward the end of the year. I was 17, he was 16, and he was in my class, my algebra class. And I really liked him. We just hit it off. He was a kind, just loving guy. And so we hit it off right away. But the guy, the father in the book, it was my dad. My dad was a very, very strict guy. We came from Cuba in 1966. So we came from a little island, and then we came to big America. Yeah. And he was very protective of me, his only daughter. I mean, we had brothers, but he wasn't concerned as much with them, me, the daughter. So everything was kind of going okay, even though I knew that I wasn't allowed to date or do anything like that. It was too dangerous. So one day, Richard came to my house to visit, and my mom and dad weren't there at the time, but then they showed up a little bit later, and they were very kind and polite. Hey, yeah, nice to see you. And then as soon as he left, it was like, okay, we don't want you hanging around with boys. That's it. You tell them that it's over. Whatever this is, it's over. I was devastated. I can't even tell you how devastated I was. And basically, that's what happens in the story. Although Madison is me, but her sisters, her adoptive sisters, and her other friends are basically split off, like multiple personalities kind of, but split off into different aspects of me. So there's Madison, and then there's a two-sister, one who loves to eat, and then the other one is very cautious about nutrition. And then there's Mari, who's always be very careful about everything. Danger lurks everywhere. So when this new guy comes to school, be aware that guy is, shady. Stay away from him. So Madison, when she starts liking him, she doesn't want to tell anybody. She doesn't want to tell her friend Mari because, she already thinks he's a troublemaker. She can't tell the sisters because the sisters already know what the dad is like. And, the other friend, Elena, she's very peaceful. She's Gandhi-like, that's another part of me. Like, it's going to be okay. Hand it over to the universe. Whatever the universe wants for you, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just split off in many parts, and I made them different people. But they're all me, basically.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Anyway, so they don't end up together in real life. I don't end up together in real life. He does leave the school, and I mean, there's a lot more to that story because I do eventually see him again in real life and everything. But in the book, I don't want to give too much away.
Sure.
But it pretty much follows course, except I have to invent a lot of things because if it were based on true stories, the book would be 20 pages long. So I had to embellish and create drama. And there's a lot of drama, like you said, family loyalties are tested because she really likes him, and there are always incidences where she's running into him, and she falls more and more for him every time. So that's basically the kind of the story.
Well, it's a great story. In some ways, it's kind of universal. I mean, I think every teenager at a young age falls head over heels for
Yes.
somebody.
Yes.
That love is very significant and feels very real, and it's one you remember your whole life.
Whole life.
And often it comes with objections from our parents, which is part of this as well. Who's your
Yes.
audience for the book? Who did you write the book for?
I would say anybody 12 and up
Yeah,
can read this book because there is a first love, like you're saying, and the first
yeah,
love is very hard to forget because it does leave imprints on the sensory areas of our brain.
yeah.
So, and it happens at the same time that the development of our identity is being formed.
Mm.
So that's why first loves are so embedded within us.
Right. And when we're falling, we don't even know what's happening to us. Like,
No,
why
we
are we
don't.
suddenly so happy at the sight of this
Yes.
person or the mention of her name? And it's the magic of first love. And you've really captured that in this book. And I think that's terrific. Have you envisioned this as a film? I could see it as a perfect coming of age film.
I've envisioned it, Logan, as a film, as a Netflix series,
Yeah.
because I can see there's so many things that happen within the story. Funny, because it's very funny, but it's
Yeah.
also bittersweet because of they can't be together. But there's so many parts that are hysterical. So I can see the story of the five friends, all the events and the drama that happens when the dad finds out that she's even hanging out with a boy, God forbid, it's against rule number 4, stay away from boys. So that happens, and the hiding and the lying that happens. And so I could totally see it, like a
Oh,
Never
yeah.
Have I Ever type of show or one of those. I can envision it totally
Yeah.
in my mind.
Absolutely. And you have envisioned it. You put it on paper and you've created a great mental image for us of that time in your life as well, which is wonderful. And what was it like writing the book? It must have been fun going back into memory lane a little bit, right?
It was fun going back into memory lane. And as a matter of fact, there's a letter that he writes or that Ben writes Madison toward the end of the book. And I basically copied that out of my yearbook
Mm,
because it was a letter that Richard wrote to me in the back of the yearbook.
yeah.
So I changed it a couple of words, but basically it was the letter
Verbatim.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, almost verbatim to that. So it brought memories back. And I actually tried to reach out to Richard to let him know that I had written a book and that he was my inspiration. But he never wrote back. And he had before in the past when I had contacted him, he had written before, but I am suspecting that he had passed away. So
Mm.
all the more um, powerful for
Yeah,
me to
all the more
write the
poignant,
story.
all the more heartfelt to
Yes.
write this story
Yeah.
of young love, and it's a cool era as well. Is this the first time writing a book?
No, actually, I have another book. I have The Healing Alphabet,
Mhm,
26 Empowering Ways to Enrich Your Life. And for that book, that's nonfiction. I
mhm,
use the letters of the alphabet and I pick words. For instance, A is accept. And then I
mhm,
talk about all the things that we have trouble accepting. It could be we have trouble accepting a gift, money, a compliment, our situation. And then
mhm,
I write about that and I give an exercise at the end of the chapter. And then I move on to B, which is behave, how our actions are more impactful than what we say. And that we can control, we can choose what our actions are. And I give an example how you could be in a complete fight with your partner and someone calls you and you could just be going, oh my God, you scumbag. The phone rings. Oh, hi, Linda. How's it going? Oh no, everything is fine. And you've been in the fighting ring just a
Right.
second ago. So we can control what we do and how we act. So the whole book is about choices.
Sounds
And
great.
it
That
empowers us.
and that's the difference between humans and animals. Animals have a stimuli and they react. They really don't have a thought process. We have a moment of thought to say, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to do anything at all? So it sounds like a great book. Will
Yeah.
there be a sequel to Papi, Por Favor? Will
Oh
we learn
yeah.
more
I
about
am I
Madison?
am halfway done with that one. And it
Okay.
continues, Logan, right where Papi Por Favor stops, and then there's a little bit of time, and then it just continues right on. And of course, she eventually runs into Ben again while they're on vacation. in
Mm,
Arizona, and then all the hilarity, all the things that happen on the way to Arizona, what happens when she sees him, and then all the things that happen after that. It's
wonderful.
very entertaining.
Sounds like a great sequel, and it sounds like it's more material for your Netflix series on
Yeah,
Papi, por
yeah.
favor. Wonderful. Rossana Snee has written a wonderful book. It is called Papi, por favor. It's a story of 16-year-old Madison Michaels as she navigates the waters of first love and family loyalty, all under the watchful eye of her protective father. This is a wonderful journey back to your youth, to your teens, thinking back to that time when there was that somebody special that you just couldn't wait to see them, maybe after school or in class or at the supermarket or wherever it was. It's a magical time in life. And unfortunately, it's usually against our parents' wishes. But oh well, that adds to the drama, of course.
It does.
Rosanna, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's been all mine. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.